In this video, I'll be going over the exact system that I use to run 7 businesses in less than 20 hours a week. And it's the exact system that you can use to run your business to scale past your personal time and involvement. And the best thing about this is that I use this system whether I'm in the office, working from home, or on holiday. And if you want to see whether you can do the same, click the link in the description and take the free owner vacation test now. Now, a business is normally made up of a number of people working together to make your business work. And a lot of business owners make the mistake of thinking of their business being run by one person, 2 people, 3 people. Whether that person is John, Nicole, or Jeremy, they think that these are the people who are running their business. And of course, you need people to run your business, but the biggest mistake is that they put too much attachment to that individual person. And in my organizations, what I do is that I ensure that every single person fits neatly into a particular role. So when you're looking at your business, you need to look at all of the people that exist in your business and identify exactly which role do they fit in. And only once you put a name to a role are you able to start taking any of the other steps that we're going to be discussing along in this video. And by the way, you need to attach a role to your name as well. And unfortunately today, what we see is that business owners are actually not neatly fitting into one role. They're normally doing 2 or 3 different roles in their business. So when you're actually putting your name to a role, you need to put down and really be genuine about this and honest with yourself that, okay, I am doing not just one role, but I'm doing maybe 2 roles or 3 roles in the business. And only once you do that for every single individual person, including yourself, can you start working on the other steps. And if you haven't seen here, what we're trying to do is we're trying to move away from individual people and move into a systematized business. Any business which becomes systematized becomes easier to run, and you're able to then analyze it from a top-down view, which gives your business so much more clarity and how you can grow your business past anything you've ever thought of before. And now that you've mapped up all of the roles in your organization and your business, now you need to assign a number to each role. Now you might be thinking, oh, actually it's easy for me to assign a number to the marketing role. It's easy for me to assign a number to the sales role and maybe the delivery role, but there are some other roles in my business like admin or finance that maybe I'm unable to assign a number to. Now that's actually a mistake because you can assign a number to any role. Let's take the example of admin, where a lot of business owners that we're speaking to and working with have a problem. Now even the admin person has a number that they are able to have in their organization. So in my organization, the number in the admin role is 0. And you might think, hold on a second, how can 0 work in an organization? And what that means is that there are no outstanding issues in the admin role by the end of the day or end of the week, depending on exactly what area of the admin function that we're looking at. So they need to have worked through every single outstanding admin query to get to there are 0 outstanding admin queries in their role. And that's just an example of how you can actually attach numbers to roles when it may not be as easy as marketing or sales. There is a number that can be attached to every single role. And only once you know these numbers can you really start systematizing your business and having the clarity that you need of where your business stands today and where it moves forward. If you look at all of the biggest business people out there, they're always asking questions as to regards to the numbers. How much are you bringing in? How much cash are you collecting? How many sales are you making per day? Are you able to deliver on every single project and every single service in your business on time? What is that time frame? Do you have enough cash run? All of these are number-based questions. So only once you have a number attached to each role can you start answering some of these questions. And now that you've mapped out your roles and your numbers, we need to do something with these roles and these numbers. So we'll take the numbers in a second because they will come back, but you need to take each role, and each role in your organization fits into a workflow. And when you have your role that fits into a workflow, you will now start to be able to assign numbers to that step in the workflow. So let's take a look at a workflow. A workflow is made up of parts of steps that your business goes through. So every business has core workflows, That means every single business that exists on planet Earth has the same number of core workflows. Whether you're selling a product business or a service business, you still have the same core workflows. Whether you have got a high ticket business that you're selling to rich people or really large ticket numbers, or whether you're selling very small ticket items, it does not matter. Every single business has these core workflows. What are these core workflows? They are marketing, they are sales, they are delivery, they are customer service, and they are finance, and they are people, and they are IT. But if you put all of them aside, the main ones are marketing, sales, product delivery, and finance. These are your core ones. Every single business needs to have this. Without these, your business does not exist and it will fail. So in each one of your workflows, you will insert a role into that particular workflow. So let's take a look at marketing. If, for example, you are running your business through Google Ads, for argument's sake. So in Google Ads, there'll be a certain number of steps that your Google ad or the lead needs to go through to be able to come out the other side and then get inserted into the sales mechanism workflow. So you get your roles and you fit it in to that particular step of the workflow. Now, this is the beautiful thing, that it doesn't matter whether you've got a small business of maybe 5 or 10 people, or if you've got a big business with 500 or 1,000 people, the same thing applies. So let's take this example here. Let's take an example of a big business to take it to its extreme. You've got 500 salespeople in your organization. In those 500 salespeople, they need to be having, for argument's sake, 1,000 sales conversations in a day. So the step in the workflow here is how many sales conversations are they having in a day? So 1,000 sales conversations are taking place in that step. The next step in the workflow is the success rate of conversions of those sales conversations, meaning how many sales did you make in the day? Out of those 1,000 sales, the conversations that were had, there are going to be 200 sales made in a day. That means there's a 20% conversion rate. Now that's taking it to an extreme where you've got a big organization. Let's take it to a small organization. Let's say, for example, you've got 2 salespeople, and in your business of 2 salespeople, those 2 salespeople are having, let's just put a number to it, 10 sales conversations in a day. Out of those 10 sales conversations, they need to be closing at least 2 sales or 4 sales, 20% rate or 40%. You probably want to convert at a higher rate if you've got a small business, just because you can give the attention, but that's aside. So let's say you need to have 2 sales or 4 sales in a day. That means that in your workflow, in your core workflow of your sales workflow, there is 10 there and there's 2 or 4 there, whatever the numbers are for your business. But you can see here is that your business is run on workflows, and you need to identify what are the steps for your core workflows in your business. Now, your business may be unique in how it services customers and what kind of product or service it provides and how it provides it. But it doesn't take away from the fact that your business has core workflows and you need to map them out. And that's how I run my 7 businesses. In each one of those businesses, there are core workflows that that business goes through, and each role has a responsibility and there's a number. So they're coming back to the number. You've seen it already. The number is attached to that step in the workflow. Is that number 1,000? Is that number 500? Is that number 200? Is that number in that workflow 2? It doesn't matter, but there needs to be a number attached to that workflow. Now, once you've got all of your workflows mapped out, I'm talking about the core value-driving workflows here, the value-driving workflows. Once you've got all of those mapped out, then you will add up all of the steps in your workflow, and when you get to the end of your business, because your marketing is the front end of your business, right? You need to get customers into your business via the marketing workflow, and then at the end, your finance workflow is going to be at the end. You're going to track how much cash is being collected at the end of the day, how much profit, and we're going to come to that, how profit and cash are different, but how much profit is being collected at the end of the day, at the end of that workflow. Now, all of the steps from the front of your workflow, front of your core workflows, the front of your business, to the end of your business needs to be the sum total of a gross profit number and a net profit number. So first we're going to look at profit, then we're going to look at cash in a second. So as long as you can profitably get someone in the front end in your business and profitably get them out the other side, at the end of your business and we loop them around for a resell or an upsell, that's a different conversation, then you know that you've got a business that is working because you can produce it at a profitable gross profit number. And normally what's happening within the steps of your workflow, you're measuring gross profit more than anything else because the net profit comes after all of the supporting elements of your business is done, right? Have been calculated out. So you've got a gross profit number. So you need to know what your gross profit target is. In my business, the gross profit target is 40%. So I know that at the beginning of my workflows to the end of my workflows, every single person, every single customer that comes in from the front side, every client that comes in on the front side, when they leave at the end, we need to be producing a 40% gross profit number at the end of it. What is that number to you? Now, for some of you, that gross profit number might be 50%, it might be 30%, it might be 80%, whatever it is, it depends on the industry that you're in, but you need to know what that gross profit number is. And then, of course, then you'll be able to work out your net profit number. So you need to have the numbers mapped out in your businesses that what is right for your business and how can you ensure that you've got enough gross profit and net profit at the end of the day to ensure that you've got a healthy business for yourself. Now, once you've mapped those profit numbers, of course, you need to ensure that the cash is being collected accordingly. So some businesses, you get cash on collection, meaning cash at the point of delivery of the product or at the sell of the product. That's the best type of business, of course. But some businesses, for example, they will work on invoicing terms, which means that they're collecting the cash, in staged format. Your business should never be in the place that you're not collecting any cash up front. You should be collecting some cash up front at the very least, but that's coming to a different story. So you need to follow how closely is your cash being mapped to your profit numbers. And as long as you've got that to a decent margin, which allows you to stay afloat, which ensures that you've got enough runway in your business to ensure that you stay afloat and you can generate a cash profit at the end of the month so you can pay yourself, because without the cash, you can't pay yourself, right? You might be profitable. If you haven't collected the cash, you can't pay yourself, right? So the cash needs to be tracked against those profit numbers. And then all of those numbers, the workflow numbers in the marketing, the workflow numbers in the sales, the workflow numbers in the delivery, the workflow numbers in the finance, these are the ones that I track on a weekly basis. And these are the ones that you need to be tracking on a weekly basis. And I must admit here, there are some really successful business people that I look up to that track this on a daily basis. I don't, right? And that's why I'm able to. Now, I'm in a lucky position that I've got a senior team that maps a lot of this stuff or tracks a lot of this stuff on a daily basis. You might have that senior team, you might not have that senior team, it does not matter. You should be doing it according to what's your capacity, because if you've got a small team, you should be tracking it daily, right? If you've got a slightly bigger team, like with 7 businesses, we've got over 100 employees in those, of course, then I've got a senior team which is running this. So I do track it on a weekly basis. But all of those numbers are put into a business dashboard. And this is where it gets juicy for you as a business owner. Because if you've mapped out all of the workflows in your business, all of the systems in your business, all of the numbers in your business, you should be able to put all of those into a business dashboard, which gets presented to you at the end of the week and at the end of the month. And these numbers, and by the way, when I say end of the week and end of the month, they're not just tracking what's been achieved. So in business, there's something called leading metrics and lagging metrics, right? So leading metrics is you should be tracking your leading metrics in the same dashboard, but you also track your lagging metrics in the same dashboard as well. So that's why at the end of the week, you'll be able to track the leading metrics for the following week, the following month. The end of the month, you'll be able to track your leading metrics for the following month. And you'll also be able to track your lagging metrics as well. So I don't want to get into too much detail, otherwise the video is going to get way too long, what leading metrics are, what lagging metrics are. But basically, leading metrics are what is your business going to be doing in the next week and in the next month. And lagging metrics are what has your business done in the last week and in the last month, right? So you need to be tracking both of these things in the dashboard. Now, how am I able to run 7 businesses less than 20 hours a week? It's because I set the targets of that dashboard, right? I know what needs to be produced, and I am constantly getting advised by people that I pay a lot of money to ensure that those targets are correct as well. So it's always good for you to have a second hand and a second person to be checking that your assumptions are true as well, right? So I set the targets in that dashboard. And all I do is that what is the achievement against that target? Whether that's a leading metric target or whether that's a lagging metric target is something that you need to be tracking on a weekly and a monthly basis, if not daily. And that's how you can reduce your time. So you can exit yourself out the day to day. You can be out of the office. You can be on working from home, or you can be on holiday. And again, click the link in the description. Take the owner vacation test to see how your business runs without you, right? So the only way a business can really grow is that you're not stuck in the day to day. And we help business owners exit the day to day so they can scale their business past their personal time and involvement without them and without being the bottleneck. So definitely click the link in the description there. But coming back to the main point, the only way that you can do that is if you're setting the targets in the dashboard and you are monitoring your entire business against those targets in a dashboard. Now, in my organization, I have senior team members who are responsible for certain targets. So I've got one person who's responsible for the marketing metrics in the dashboard. I've got one person who's responsible for all of the ops metrics in the dashboard, meaning, say ops for me, that's sales and that's delivery together. That I've got one person who looks after both of those, right? And then I've got another person who's looking at the lagging financial metrics. We are lucky that we have very little discrepancy between cash and profit, but in some businesses you need to be checking that. So your finance person essentially is going to be checking cash versus the profit, the financial elements of your business. So I've given the responsibility to these people. Now, if you, for example, got a small business and you're the main manager and you're running your business like that, you can still assign targets to the one or two people that you have in your business in each department, right? So this works, especially if you've got 3 to 5 plus employees in your business at the very least. If you've got less than 3 employees in your business, you're basically doing like 5 roles in one, you. So you need to be attaching those numbers to yourself. But I digress. So each target and each metric in that dashboard is allocated to a particular person, and that person owns that number. And we come together and we discuss, are those metrics, those achievement metrics on target or are they not? And if they are, fantastic, we'll monitor it over a particular period of time. If we're achieving it consistently, then I will increase those targets and you should do the same. If your business, see, a lot of business owners, they go through business and they don't even know whether they should be expanding their targets and whether they should be looking for real growth. Is their business even at the point that it can grow predictably with clarity, right? It's fantastic if your business is growing because you're putting leads in and you're getting cash in, fantastic. But at least track it, because if you start tracking it in a dashboard, that's the only way that you can see how far your business can go. So a lot of business owners, they're limiting their growth because they don't know how far they can push those targets, because they just don't know the metrics that are coming in. And that we help business owners with that all the time, of course. But you need to be doing that for your business. So start tracking your numbers to ensure that, right, can I expand my targets or not? And one other thing is that, for example, we have particular businesses, like it comes to mind right now, there's one business that went down a little bit last year. We did not reduce the target from where it was, right? You never reduce your targets, because what you hit as a benchmark when it was producing and hitting those target numbers now becomes your new normal, and you get it back to that number and you identify what's the plan, what's the workflow numbers that need to be achieved in the marketing workflow, in the sales workflow, in the delivery workflow, in the finance workflow, to be able to get back to that number that we used to be achieving. So never reduce your targets. So while you always want to be expanding your targets, never reduce your target. Yes, because once you start reducing your target, you're essentially admitting defeat. If your business was able to produce a higher number at some point, never take it down to a lower number. We always say to our team, right, how are we getting our business back to that number? You come up with the plan. And one of the other things is like, one of the ways I'm able to actually reduce my management time to less than 20 hours a week is that I really listen to my team. And I really ask the team, right, we see that this is happening and it's not so good. How can we get it back to where it is? Fantastic. We are actually been achieving this consistently. We need to expand the target. How far do you think? What's the current capacity that you think you can do it? And you'll find two types of responses here. You'll find the person who thinks that they're stretched and they can't go any further, that the department, the business is at capacity. Remember, any business is not at capacity, because all you have to do is you have to put in more systems and technology, or you just put in more people, right? Or allocate more capital to it. Because if a business is doing well, you can put the capital to it. You can hire another person. You can put another system in, right? So never, always take, what's the feeling coming from your business on how they can take it to the next level. But if you get some of those people who are always saying, oh, you know what, we're at capacity, we can't really go any further than that. This is where your genius comes in as a business owner. You're like, right, I know that all we need to do is put in this system. And today, especially in the day of systems and AI, technology and AI, look at what technology and AI is available. That's what I'm looking at my business all the time. It's like, right, does this really need another hire, or can we bring in some technology and bring in some AI which can actually make it more efficient and unlock capacity within our current team? And sometimes the answer is yes, we've got the system and we've got this AI that we can implement, and sometimes it's no, we need a person. And that's perfectly fine. Make the hire, right? Your business will grow with people. The more people you have, and as long as it's got the right culture and everything, then you will grow your business when you have more people. So really understand the workflows in your business, the systems in your business, the numbers in your business, and have the targets, and always be expanding the targets when you know that it can be expanded. So let me ask you a question. Do you know what roles exist in your business? Do you know where those roles fit and what numbers need to be attached to those roles? Do you know the core workflows in your business? And do you know what kind of gross profit and net profit numbers your business needs to be providing for you as the business owner? That's how I run 7 businesses in less than 20 hours a week, and that's how you can do the same. Now, let me just say here, it's not about reducing just the amount of time that you're working, and if that's what you want to achieve for freedom purposes, that's perfectly fine. But it's about being able to choose where you want to spend your time. And as a business owner myself, I want to be spending my time on the areas that produce the most amount of value for the business and most amount of value for myself. And that's what you should be doing. If your time is best spent in the marketing, because the marketing produces the most amount of leverage for you in terms of the amount of time that you spend and the outcome that you get for your business, then you do that. But the only way that you can start doing that is if you mapped out everything in your business. That's what we talk about on this channel, on how you can exit the day-to-day and scale your business to the next level without your personal time and involvement and without you being the bottleneck. So continue watching videos on this channel. I'll see you in the next video.